Right, so Manchester United 3, Bodø Glimt 2. It was an interesting game, a bit of a mixed bag, but more of a positive mixed bag than negative. Obviously, they started off really well again with an early goal, this time Hojlund pressing the goalkeeper into making a mistake, allowing Garnacho to tap in for an early 1-0. From there, it was a little bit of a mix because there was a lot of few little mistakes happening here and there, and that was a bit worrying at times. And I think that the defensive structure side of things is going to need time to be worked on. It's not going to be perfect straight away, so you have to kind of take the rough with the smooth in that sense. There was a mistake from Mazraoui for the first goal. I'm a little bit concerned with Mazraoui because I have seen a few mistakes here and there be kind of into his game, whether it's because he's playing a centre-back and a 3 and it's not something he's really done before. He's usually been a wing-back or a full-back. That might be why that's kind of occurring, and it might be kind of getting used to the system in a sense. But there was mistakes happening. There have been a couple in the Ipswich game, which I was a bit concerned about as well, where he'd basically leave his man and allow, I think was it the lap that was got in between him and De Ligt at one stage at the weekend. There was obviously the mistake for the goal, so that's a bit of a concern there. I think that the second goal came from the other side though, so that would have been Martinez. And for me, Martinez steps up in the line, presses high, and doesn't maybe possibly doesn't commit correctly. I'm not sure, but there's something about this kind of defensive structure. It's going to need time to work on. They're going to need to regiment it, I think, a little bit. But there was a bit more control about the play when after the second goal went in for Bodø Glimt. And there was overall, I know that United had a good amount of possession. I think it was around 73%, something like that. And that's a positive sign, to be fair. So it shows that they're controlling games. Obviously, maybe a lesser team in a sense, a bit harsh maybe to say that for a European side. They are due to win their league if they get a point, I think it is. So they are still no slouches, and they played quite well, to be fair. Then the Hojlund goal, it's good to see Rasmus Hojlund getting some goals. Obviously, he got 2 last night, one in the first half to make it 2-2, and obviously the winner to make it 3-2 in the second half. It's good to see that he's getting service, because a lot of the time last year he wasn't, and that was an issue. I think that needs to be improved on, and I think it did improve as time progressed in the game. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to. I think that people are saying that United need a striker. I would agree. I do think we need options. I think we do need another striker. But for now, I think Rasmus Hojlund is good enough to work the system and work it well. And if you develop him correctly, which looks like is the case, because he did look lively yesterday and he did look like he was getting himself about, I think it will work for him. My concern going forward is Garnacho. He's doing a lot for himself, but not really much for anybody else. I don't think did he even create a chance. I don't think he's had 4 shots himself, but I don't think he created anything. I think that him and Rashford are going to be probably looking at the periphery as time progresses, because you're going to end up with your players like your Mounts and your Fernandezes and your Amads, who are more more used to kind of being the assist makers and the chance creators, playing those tens behind the striker. So I think that unless they can adapt to be able to play that game, then you might see a bit of a change with them. You might see them leave, and I don't know. But they're the two that I would worry about at this moment in time. And Anthony, I just don't think he looked lost. He looked like he didn't know 100% what he was doing. There was a lot of times where he was losing the ball quite cheaply. I just think that he's not going to work with this team at United in this system. So I think he's another one that might be on the chopping block. It was good to see Malastia get the first half. He did look a bit leggy near the end. Obviously, it's match fitness. He's only had one half back, and that was in the under-23s. So obviously this is his first game back, and he's played the first half, and he obviously swapped for Dallo at half time. And it was good to see Amorim change structure. He went to a back four for a brief spell, doing a 4-2-3-1. The attacking play was very similar still, but the kind of defensive side of things was a bit more structured with a 4-back. A bit weird that he played Shaw and Casemiro in the back four by the end, but it is what it is. But it works in a sense, and it's good to see that kind of adaptation be the manager being willing to do that sort of adaptation. But overall, I was happy with it. I think we controlled the game quite well. It was good to see us get a result for once in Europe. I was worried that after conceding twice in the space of no time again, that it was going to be more of the same like it was at the weekend. There was just no flow and no consistency and no determination or anything like that at the weekend, I didn't think. But this time, obviously, Hojlund getting the 2 goals, there was a good amount of play for him. I think it worked well. So it's good to see everything kind of work out for him in that regard. But let me guys know what you think. Who did you think stood out? Who do you think was lackluster in a sense? If I was to pick a man of the match, I would probably say Hojlund, because I think he did more than anyone. He got 2 goals, but he did put himself about quite well, and he was very structured with his press. So I'd say Hojlund probably man of the match. He did a very good job, and hopefully that will continue into the weekend in Everton. But guys, if you like this video, please leave it a like. If you haven't, leave it a dislike. Subscribe if you're new. Until next time, take care.